this is Freshly Served, the healthy vegan cooking show. I'm Heather, and tonight we are going to be making sweet potato brown rice patties, which I'm very excited about because I love sweet potatoes. And this is just a little bit of a different way to use some rice, and it's especially good for leftover rice. So a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, you need to be using a short grain brown rice. Long grain just doesn't get sticky enough to form into a patty. So make sure you're using a short grain. And secondly, you want to cook this ahead of time. The grain needs to fully cook and then cool off before you can start putting it into a patty. That's how it gets nice and sticky, so this is why it's really good for leftover rice. Otherwise, maybe make it in the morning when you're eating breakfast. Brown rice takes about 45 minutes to cook up, and then it can sit for the day and cool off. So we'll get started. I've got my brown rice already cooked. I've got sweet potato grated, which grated is not one of my favorite things to do, but because it's for sweet potato, I'm willing to do it. I've got some red onion chopped up really fine, diced really small. I'm not a fan of getting a big chunk of red onion in my mouth, so I've cut it up really small. So see how nice and dry and sticky my rice is? That's what you want to see. If it's wet, it's not going to stick properly, so get it right to there. And as always, brown rice is very important. I know white rice is stickier and you can get the sticky white rice, but use the brown because it still has the nutrients left in it. And then we'll add that to the sweet potato, which you'll notice looks very similar to grated carrot. They have some of the same nutrients, beta-carotene, and some others. And carrot actually substitutes really nicely in this recipe because it's another root vegetable. So if you don't have any sweet potato on hand, or you don't feel like getting it and you got a bunch of carrots, you can very easily substitute the carrots for the sweet potato. So I'm just going to stir this around, get them mixed together, and I'll add in some of my red onion. You'll notice over my cutting board I have some kale, which is what I'm going to have with my burgers. You can do these really nicely with just about anything in terms of vegetables, or you can have them on a bun or whatever. But I'm just going to do it really simple tonight and just have some greens. So I'll get the onion mixed in as well. And then I'll add some salt. Depend on your taste, how much you like. I'm also going to put some black pepper in here, though not as much as the salt. And I'm also going to put basil. If I have any left. There we go. And whatever herb you like to use will be good in here. I'm just feeling some basil tonight. You can also use fresh herbs, that would be really nice, but I don't happen to have any. If you're using the dried, helps to crush them between your fingers, get a little bit of the flavor out. It also makes your fingers smell nice. Yeah. What we're gonna do to make this stick together really nicely is add some flour, and I'll just sprinkle some on here. A little more. There we go. Mix it into the rice so you can see how much you need. And I think a little bit more. There's more rice in here than I thought. Dump it all in. There we go. Okay. So get that mixed in first so that it gets evenly distributed. And then you can see how much moisture you need to add, if any. What you can do is just stick this in your hand and see how well it clumps together. Ooh, that's a nice one. So because the salt brings out some of the moisture in the sweet potato and the onion, it gets a little bit wetter than when you just had the rice. So it's important at this point to stop and make sure that you don't need moisture, or if you do, you just add a little bit of water. I'm gonna get these guys all formed. And I'm gonna fry them. You could also bake them if you like. But if you're gonna bake them, make sure you use a little bit of oil in the actual batter so that it protects the burger from drying out. If you just pop these in the oven, they'll cook, but they'll be really dry and the sweet potato won't cook as nicely. So when I put it in the oil in the pan to fry it, it seals the sweet potato so that it doesn't lose its moisture. You don't have to use much oil in the pan. And we didn't use any oil in the actual burgers, so they're already pretty low fat. So you don't have to worry about it too much. Make sure these guys are really nice and tight, otherwise they'll come apart in the pan. Okay, so I used half a cup of dry rice to start with, cooked it, and then I've come out with 5 patties that are about that big. And after you get these guys together, your hands are going to be a mess. So the pan is feeling like it's ready. I'm just gonna add a bit of olive oil here. You won't need much now that the pan is really hot. And what you wanna do is make sure that the bottom of the patty gets a little bit of oil, because that's the important part. Otherwise it'll stick. And then you wind up with a goopy mess in your pan. And I'm just going to bring it this way so that the oil runs over. And I can put that patty there. And that one there. And I'm just going to get a touch more oil. For my 5th one. Now the key to these guys is that you want to leave them alone until they've formed a good crust on the bottom, and then you can flip them. If you try to flip them too early, they're going to fall apart. So make sure you give them a good 7 to 10 minutes on the first side, then take a peek and flip them over when they're brown on the bottom. So I'm just going to leave those guys alone, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes, and these guys look like they're having fun over here. And I'll just check and make sure they're good before I actually flip them over. So they're browning up really, really nicely on the bottom. So flip that guy over and take a look. I don't know if you can see that, but he's a lot browner than his neighbors. Yep, they're looking good. And you will probably have to scrape them off the pan a bit, that's okay. But just try to make sure you don't scrape that crust off, because that's what's going to keep these little guys together. Okay, so they're good, and they're going to want to cook for another at least 5 minutes. You just want it browned on the other side. And just make sure the sweet potato and the onion is cooked. The rice is already cooked, so we don't have to worry too much. Well, this looks beautiful, smells great. I know it's healthy, and I bet it tastes amazing as well. So I think I'm gonna try a bite. See how we did. Mmm.